Hey, how's it going? Today I wanted to, I'm gonna drink this beer. Little Hazy Thing by Sierra Nevada. 6.7% alcohol. I also wanted to talk about the topic of loneliness and not having a purpose, a career in this society, not fitting into society, being a pariah or an outcast. And it's a very interesting subject, loneliness, in these modern times of technology and human rights, and everybody has their own group, and everybody has rights, and everything seems to be working fine. But then there's a few of us that don't fit into society, maybe are lonely or loners, and don't fit in to any group, and have an issue with that, and deal with, for whatever reason. There's many reasons that people become loners or are lonely. And some of my reasons, and I'm sure I could make friends if I wanted to, but I don't trust people too much. That's the thing. You'd have to trust people to make friends. And from my experiences in the past, I don't really trust people. I mean, if there is like some like awkward, oddball person like myself, maybe I could befriend them, but I'd have to really trust that person and test them out. But there's many reasons people become loners, and loners are looked at in our society as very bad people. For example, when you watch the news, if someone's did something really bad or something, they're like, oh, he was a loner, or he or she was a loner, and so that automatically is connected with, or them being a loner is automatically it's a bad thing. So that's how in everyone's mind in our society, being a loner is bad. It means you're a bad person, and that's easily explained, because if you don't have friends, if you don't fit in, if you're a loner, an outcast, there has to be a reason for that. So I understand where normal people are coming from when they look down on loners and lonely people. It's understandable. But yeah, if you're a loner, you're a bad person automatically, because there has to be a reason why you're a loner. Maybe because you're not a good person, people don't like you, or you do bad things, or whatever the reason. But there's a lot of loners. I know I'm not the only one, and loneliness is a problem in our society. But I don't know. It's weird. And not having a family, that's the most important thing, is to have children and a family and extend your family's legacy. And when you can't do that, or you don't do that, you're also a bad person. So that's two. Loner, and not a child bearer, or whatever, not a parent. Like, there's people that are horrible people, and they have like kids, and they're parents, so they're automatically put in a group of people, like on the news again. If someone says someone passes away in a car accident or whatever, God forbid, whatever, a guy, like, let's say he's my age, 30, turning 36, 35. He was a father. He had 2 children. He was a father. a father, and or they'll say your profession. So that being a parent automatically raises you a status in our society, because you're good, because you're prolonging society, you're adding to society, you're creating life, which is the point of life, is to create more life and reproduce. So you're on track, you're on a level with everybody else in society just by having children. So if you don't have any friends, social life, and you don't have children, a family of your own, so those are 2 strikes. And the third strike is when you don't have a purpose in society. You don't have a career, or a job, a good job, because in our society, you're supposed to have a purpose to do your part in society by working your job or career. It could be anything. Working at McDonald's, or being a police officer, or a doctor, or a grocery store clerk, or a bank worker. You're contributing to society. So if you don't have that, that's 1, being a loner, no social activity. 2, not having a family, or not being a parent. And 3, not having a purpose, a career, or a function in society. So 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. And that's me. And I get by for the most part, but those are the 3 things you need. Even if you have a career, let's say if I don't have a friends or social life, I don't have a family, children, whatever, right? 2 strikes. But let's say on the third, on the career thing, let's say I was naturally gifted, and I was a doctor, like a loner doctor, I would get respect. Or if I was just a smart entrepreneur, businessman, a naturally smart person, and I really hustled, and I sold homes or real estate or something, and I was rich, I would get respect, and I would fit into society, not having the 2. So it's a weird situation to be in, having this trifecta, or the holy trinity of loserism. And by me talking about it, it helps me cope. But the tough part about having the holy trinity of loserism, is that you're intertwined, you're intermixed with all of the functioning society. I'm a non-functioning person in a functioning society. I'm a pariah. Yet at the same time, I'm in the society. I'm in the thick of it. And everyone around me is a functioning member of society. They have social lives. They have families, children, tons of them. They're all running around, and they have purpose. They work. But that's the tough part, is that you're constantly reminded that you don't fit in. You see what I'm saying? You're constantly reminded that you don't belong in society. And sure, you could keep yourself busy, work on cars, or fix small motors, or build a camper van, or a simplified camper van, and keep yourself busy, keep your mind preoccupied. But that feeling of not fitting in it seems to grow. It grows every year, and it gets larger and bigger. That feeling of not fitting in, being an outcast, and you learn to not really care about things, but at the same time, you become a bigger outcast, and it becomes harder to fit in and be part of society. Modern times. These modern times are pretty strange, and the thing about loneliness, it's like depression. It's like a deep hole that you're in, and you're trying to dig yourself out, but it's almost impossible to dig yourself out. And sometimes you're climbing, and you're almost making it to the top out of the hole, but then you fall right back down again. And that's how loneliness is, and depression. I think they're connected, actually. But then, on another hand, loneliness is, if you get by being a loner, not fitting in, not having a family, whatnot, children, a reproducer, a careered person, and you are able to cope in that situation, it also makes you stronger, because some people can't be lonely. They would die from a broken heart of being lonely. So maybe like I thought before, maybe it's a strength being lonely. And it's like you're in your own little world. So there's a positive outlook to it. You live in your own world, like your own bubble, and you kind of learn not to really care, because you know that you're already a outcast. So you live in your own world, and you can kind of be free to do what you want. And that's what I try to do. But at the same time, like I said, you're constantly reminded that you're not fitting in. And when you walk out the door, you see your neighbors. You hear about family members that have children and careers, and they're moving up in life, and you're still in that same teenage platform, kind of like young adult platform, and you're growing old. You're growing older. I have white hairs, and so it's a strange situation to be in. It really is. It's not bad, like really bad, but obviously I have survival skills, coping mechanisms, but it still gets tough. I mean, the only time I really almost gave up, like in life, was when I used to smoke a lot of weed. The weed really tripped me out, and I was like planning things like to end it all, but I quit smoking weed, because the weed really it's like a euphoric. It gets into your brain, and it clouds your judgment and makes you really depressed, and so. But other than that, I'm surviving it, and I get by, but it's not easy for a lot of people being in this situation. Anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Loneliness, being in this society, and like I said, you're reminded. I see, like for example, I see a guy my age that I've known, and he has a family. He has 3 children, a career, and he's my age. So it's kind of like I'm still a child, like I haven't matured. So it kind of trips me out, and but what are you gonna do? I'm not the only one. I mean, there has to be something I could do. I'd like to help. If I could ever help someone like me, one of my own kind, I'd help them immediately. But it's not easy because people like me at work, we're hidden and we're in the shadows, you know. So I always thought that maybe there could be like, because you think about fringe groups and what do you call minority groups, all types of minorities, fringe groups, and they all, in this modern day and age we're living in, they all have rights, and they fought for their rights, and they earned and they got their rights. But then you think of the only people that don't have rights are the people in the shadows, the loners and the outcasts of society. They don't have rights. You're allowed to disrespect people like that. You're allowed to, because they're bad. We're bad people. We don't fit in. So maybe if there is some unity between the people in the shadows, you know, but no one would ever want to announce their situation if they're in that situation. So that would never happen. Maybe one day. Yeah.